Welcome back to Gate Baba. In this lecture, I will be discussing the arc welding technique and arc welding machines and parameters. So let's get started with arc welding technique. You can see the setup. Arc welding mainly consists of an electrode and workpiece, a power supply. Power supply is again three types: DC straight polarity, DC reverse polarity, and AC current. To explain this, I am taking DC straight polarity as an example here. So what is DC straight polarity means? DC means DC current, direct current or nothing but straight polarity. Straight polarity means when I connect negative terminal with electrode, then that is called DC straight polarity. That means the positive terminal is connected with the workpiece. So electrode will act as cathode and workpiece acts as anode. If positive terminal is connected with electrode and negative terminal is connected with workpiece, then that is called DC reverse polarity. In AC current, there is no positive terminal or negative terminal. The terminals will change according to the frequency of the current. That means if I am using a 50 Hz frequency AC current, per second 50 times the terminals will change. I cannot decide whether it is in straight polarity or whether it is in reverse polarity. So that is the meaning of AC, alternating current. So during positive half cycle, it acts as DC straight polarity. During negative half cycle, it will act as reverse polarity. When the electrode is in contact with workpiece, due to short circuit, electric arc will be generated. To continue the arc, we will provide some gap between this workpiece and electrode. That gap is called arc length. The gap between the cathode and workpiece, that means anode, is called arc length. Okay, the arc voltage can be altered by altering the arc length. If I increase the arc length, the arc voltage will be increased. If I decrease the arc length, arc voltage will be decreased. Arc voltage having a linear relationship with arc length. Okay, due to short circuit, arc is generated. So why arc has to be generated due to short circuit? We will discuss this thing in few minutes. Electrons from cathode will be moving in downward direction, that means towards anode, and reaches anode. The positive ions from anode reaches cathode. Okay, and we know that the positive ions mass is greater than the electron mass. So that's why the more heat will be generated at anode when compared to cathode. So generally 1/3 of heat will be generated at cathode and 2/3 of heat will be generated at workpiece. This is the main important point you have to remember throughout this welding techniques. Okay, 1/3 of heat will be generated at electrode if I use DC straight polarity. That means at cathode. 2/3 of heat will be generated at workpiece or anode if I use DC straight polarity. For example, if I use DC reverse polarity, then what will happen? 2/3 of heat will be produced at electrode and 1/3 of heat will be produced at workpiece. So what is the use of that? We will see that thing later also. Okay. Now come to the arc generation. How arc is being generated? There are a lot of theories behind arc generation, but I will go with the simple explanation. You can see here the setup. This is the basic setup of DC straight polarity. That means the electrode acts as cathode and workpiece is acting like anode. That means it is connected with the negative terminal and it is connected with positive terminal. Okay, now you can see here the electrons are emitted from this electrode and reaching this workpiece Likewise, the positive ions from this workpiece are going upwards and reaching the electrode. During this thing, what will happen? So why, if there is a gap between these two metals, why current is flowing in the air? Have you ever get that out? We know that current flows in the medium only. That means it is a solid medium, current flows very high fastly. If it is a liquid medium, then also current flows. In air, current does not flow. If that happens, we all die. Okay, because the all electrical wires are in the air only. So in air, current does not flow. But here in the air, current is flowing. So what is happening here to air? Due to high potential difference, the electrons in this point, in this tip, are not stable. Those are always pushed by the oncoming electrons. So they cannot be stable, so that the electrons are pushing from upward. They eject from this electrode and breaks the air molecules in the surroundings. So what will happen if the electron will break the air molecules? The air decomposes. That means air will decomposes into positive ions and negative ions, and that is called plasma. That is nothing but charged particles. We know plasma is fourth state of matter. What are the three states of matter? Solid, liquid, and gas. These are the three states of matter that we know already. The fourth state of matter is called plasma. So how plasma is generated? By breaking the air molecules, air atoms. If we closely observe, okay. So I am removing one electron from the air atom, or I am adding one electron to the air atom. Then that is called plasma. It is unstable component. It cannot exist for longer duration. So these charged particles will carry current. So that's why in the air current is flowing. There is a concept called dielectric breakdown. I think you have studied this concept in first year engineering physics in semiconductor technology. So actually what happens here means dielectric breakdown. Air is good dielectric material that we know because it doesn't allow current to pass through it. So here, due to high potential difference in the electrode and workpiece, the electrons are pushing the down electrons, and those down electrons are escaping from the electrode. That's why the air is decomposing and forms plasma. Plasma is good conductor of electricity when compared to air, liquid, or solid. Okay, it is the good conductor of electricity. So it is conducting electrons and positive ions. So we know that the positive ions have very high mass when compared to a single electron. A positive ion is nothing but it is ion which is having deficient electron. That means it is losing an electron to produce a positive ion. Electron means there is part of the atom. The remaining part of atom is called positive ion. Positive ions have definitely high mass when compared to electrons. So these high mass particles are removing from the workpiece. So what will happen? It will melt faster than the electrode melt. So that's why two-third of heat will be produced at workpiece and one-third of heat will be produced at electrode. If I choose DC reverse polarity, what will happen? The positive ions from this electrode will move downwards and the electrons will move upwards. So then the electrode will melt faster when compared to the workpiece. That is DCRP. Two-third of heat will be generated at electrode and one-third of heat will be generated at workpiece. If I choose DC reverse polarity. So what will happen if I choose AC current? AC current has DC SP and DC RP as well as. In a positive half cycle, it will act as DC SP, and in negative half cycle, it will act as DC RP. That means uniform heat generation. AC means uniform heat generation. half of heat will be here and half of heat will be here. Okay, most of the times we choose AC current only for special purpose welding like aluminum and magnesium. We'll see those things later in the shielded gas welding. Wait up to that. Here the arc is nothing but plasma. Okay, the light that you are with, seeing with your naked eye is nothing but plasma. This is plasma. Plasma rays emit UV radiation. So that radiation causes an irritation to your eye. So that is why we are using shields or protectors for our eyes. Okay, and then come to the arc length. So what is the arc length? Generally, the arc length is, it is designated as LA, 0.5 times of diameter to 1.5 times of diameter. So what is the diameter? Diameter is nothing but the diameter of electrode material. So it is the diameter of electrode. So generally the arc length has to be maintained within these limits. Otherwise the connection will be lost and arc will be lost. If I want to use a consumable electrode, then I will use DC reverse polarity. And if I want to use non-consumable electrode, that means electrode has not to be consumed, then I will choose DC straight polarity. Okay. Now come to the differences between straight polarity and reverse polarity very clearly. In this DC straight polarity and DC reverse polarity, that means the electrode is nothing but cathode and workpiece is nothing but anode. Here electrode acts as anode and workpiece acts as cathode. These concepts are very important. That's why I'm stressing repeatedly down these DCSP and DCRP concepts. Okay, these are throughout carried in the welding. Each and every technique has depend on this DC straight polarity and reverse polarity. That's why I'm stressing these concepts very much. Please be careful. The other name of DCSP is also DC electrode negative, and for the DCRP it is also DC electrode positive. Okay, these are two other names. Examiner may give these names also to confuse you, so please be careful. And now come to the comparison. The first comparison is between the thickness of metal. So by this method we know that one third of heat will be generated at electrode and two third will be at anode. That means I can melt more metal here. So the thickness of workpiece material that can be handled by this DCSP is very high. And now come to DCRP, nothing but DCEP. Okay, here we know that two third will be here and one third heat will be here. So electrode is consuming faster when compared to workpiece. So workpiece cannot be melting faster rate. So I cannot melt high thickness materials. Less thickness. And then come to the second difference. That is nothing but the melting point temperature. It is used for more melting point temperature materials because more heat is generated here. So I can use that heat to melt the high melting point materials. It is for high melting point materials and it is for low melting point materials because less heat will be generated at workpiece. And then come to the third difference, that is nothing but the deposition rate. Now you tell me the deposition rate in which is higher. Here the electrode is consuming slower rate. That means the deposition from the electrode is lesser. So deposition rate is less here, and here the electrode is having more heat. That means it is melting faster. That means it is decomposing faster. So the deposition rate is higher here. By the way, the deposition rate units are kg per hour. Okay, and then come to the fourth comparison, that is by this welding technique, that means DCSP technique, low speed application. Here it can be used for high speed applications. That means the welding speed is higher in DCRP when compared to DCSP. Okay, so what is the thickness profiles? I will draw here. If this is the workpiece, more thickness can be welded, and for this DCRP current, less thicker materials. Okay, and for AC current, it is in between straight polarity and reverse polarity, because uniform heat generation occurs in AC current. Okay, so these are the comparison between DCSP and DCRP. Now come to the welding techniques that we have. So these are all the three welding techniques: manual arc welding, automatic arc welding, and semi-automatic arc welding. We can observe that two motions of welding. Take it is a electrode and it is a workpiece. Okay, so I am welding from this point to this point, or this point to this point. That means the electrode has to move from to and fro. So this is the first motion, and if it is consuming, that means I have to push the electrode towards the workpiece. So this is the second motion. If these two motions are controlled by man, then that is called manual arc welding. If one motion is controlled by man and other motion is controlled by machine, then that is called semi-automatic arc welding. If both two motions are controlled by machine, then that is called automatic arc welding. One motion by man, then that is semi-automatic. Two motions, to and fro and downward motion by machine, then that is called automatic. If two motions are controlled by man only, then that is called manual arc welding. But the key point in these three welding techniques are to maintain the constant arc length. Whatever you do with a man or you do with a machine, you have to maintain constant arc length. Why? Because if I change the arc length, the welding parameters will change. That means the arc voltage will change, current will change. If voltage will change, definitely current will be changed based on Ohm's law. We know that V equals IR. Okay, so to maintain constant arc length, but we cannot maintain constant arc length in precision equipments because of our hand shaking movements. So better to use automatic arc welding in mass production systems. That will be viable when compared to manual arc welding. And now come to the types of welding machines. What are the welding machines that we have? Constant current welding machine and constant voltage welding machine. Now here you can see the graph of voltage to current for constant current and voltage to current for constant voltage. Okay, in this graph you closely observe one thing. If I change voltage by some small difference, the corresponding change in current is very small when compared to this voltage change. So for a small change in voltage, the change in current is neglected. So that means then it is called constant current. Ideally it is not constant, it is not lying in same line. The difference is there, but it is very small when compared to the voltage change. So this graph is called drooping characteristic graph. Drooping characteristic graph. Okay, droop is nothing but downward bend. In examination he will not give constant current machine, he will give drooping characteristics. That means the welding machine follows drooping characteristics, solve the question. So that is the question. Sometimes in exam he may not give the constant current, he may give the drooping characteristics. So in that way you can understand this. Okay, so for a small change in voltage, the corresponding change in current is very small, so we can neglect this change. So that is called constant current. But in constant voltage, for a small change in voltage, very tiny change in voltage, the corresponding current change is very high. So it is having the constant voltage characteristic. If I increase the current range, then the voltage range cannot be increased than this. Okay, so that's why it is called constant voltage. So which machine I have to choose for manual arc welding and automatic arc welding? I told you in the earlier section also, the arc voltage will depend upon arc length. Arc voltage is a function of arc length, linear function of arc length. So in manual arc welding, what will happen? Due to our hand shaking movement, the arc length may change from point to point. So that in that case, the voltage is changing, but I don't want the current to change. Then what I will choose? The constant current. So here I am changing the voltage from time to time very high, but the current change is very less. So this machine is ideal for manual arc welding. And in this case, the arc length can be controlled by machine so that arc voltage will not be changed. So that arc current can also be changed. This welding machine is very ideal case for automatic welding machine. Okay, and constant voltage type welding machines are highly accurate when compared to manual arc welding. So these are the two main welding machines that we have. We will discuss these things very clearly in the problem solving sessions, or we'll see that. Okay, and then come to the parameters of welding machine. So what are the parameters that I can measure from a welding machine? So if it is a constant current type, what are the parameters I can measure? If it is a constant voltage, what are the parameters I can measure? There are three main universal parameters to measure before going to buy a welding machine. Those are open circuit voltage and short circuit current and duty cycle. Okay, these are the three parameters that we have to measure before buying a welding machine. So what is mean by open circuit voltage? It is the maximum rated voltage which can be measured across the two terminals. These are two terminals under no loading conditions. So it is the maximum voltage obtained by step downing the transformer. By the way, these two welding machines are worked based on step down transformer. what actually step down transformer will do, it will decrease the voltage rating and will increase the current. We want high currents for production of maximum heat, so that's why we are using step down transformer. Okay, now come to this part. Open circuit voltage is nothing but the maximum rated voltage which can be measured across the two open terminals under no loading conditions. That means the short circuit here will be zero. It is denoted by VO, open circuit voltage. It is generally varies between 60 to 80 volts for a welding machine. Okay, and here the short circuit current is zero. That means we are measuring the voltage under no loading conditions. That means there is no load on the transformer, so current will be zero. There is no doubt in that. Okay, I am giving you some mathematical relations here. So this is the graph of constant voltage welding machine, voltage axis and current axis. Okay, this is just a line which coincides on x-axis at a point and y-axis at a point. So I can write the line equation to define this. So what is the slope intercept form that I know? X by x1. X1 means nothing but short circuit current plus y by y1. That means voltage over open circuit voltage equals 1. So this is our main equation. Okay, there are lots of problems on this equation. If I replace the I value and V value by IT VT, then that is called transformer. So the rated transformer current and the rated transformer voltage. So this is the slope intercept form of constant voltage arc machine. And then come to the short circuit current. What is short circuit current? It is the maximum rated current that can be allowed through a welding machine. Maximum current that can be allowed through a welding machine at rated conditions. I given all the definitions and theory part in the notes. You can check that also. Okay, that's why I'm not reading clearly these things. So short circuit is current is the maximum current that can be allowed at rated condition. And for a given welding machine, and for a given welding machine, short circuit current and open circuit voltage are constant. These cannot change time to time. The only variables are transformer current and transformer voltage. These are changing from time to time, but short circuit current and open circuit voltage will not change. For a given welding machine, these are constant. These cannot be changed. And I want to give you the relation of arc voltage here only. Okay, arc voltage is a function of arc length. I told you many times. So it is given by some constant plus some constant times of arc length. So if arc length increases, arc voltage increases. If arc length decreases, arc voltage will decreases. So arc length is controlled by us or by machine to control the arc voltage. Okay. And our next parameter is duty cycle. This is the last parameter that we have to measure before buying a welding machine from the store. Duty cycle is nothing but the percentage of time during which arc is on without overheating the elements in a welding machine. That means arc is on without overheating the welding elements of a welding machine. Okay, so it is defined in the mathematical expression as percentage of time equals arc on time. On means switching on time divided by arc on plus ideal time. Ideal time. That means the off time, nothing but, okay. And duty cycle is denoted by the symbol D, and there is a specific relation between the current and duty cycle, that is I square D equals constant. This is also star mark formula. You have to remember this thing. Okay. In India, the duty cycle is, we follow the duty cycle as 5 minutes. That means 3 minutes on and 2 minutes off. So that means the percentage of time is 60%. And some important tips while solving the questions: for stable or conditions, this is a stable or for stable or conditions, for constant current type, the transformer current will be equal to the arc current. And for the stable or condition for constant voltage type is, the transformer voltage will be equal to the arc voltage itself. So these are the two main important points that you have to remember in your mind before solving the questions. Many questions asked from these two conditions. He will give the stable arc conditions, that it is following the drooping characteristics. So then you have to equate the transformer current with arc current and you solve the problem. And for constant voltage also, you have to equate the voltage current, transformer current, transformer voltage to the arc voltage. Then you can solve the question further. Otherwise, we cannot find the relations and we cannot solve the problem. By the way, this curve is also known as parabolic. Sometimes in exam, he may not give the drooping characteristics or constant current. He may give the parabolic variation. Then also you have to solve the problem based on constant current type. Otherwise, your answer will be wrong. These two relations are for stable arc conditions only, not for each and every condition. These two are for only stable arc conditions. That means the arc is stable, not fluctuating from time to time. At what conditions we can achieve? For a constant current type machine, we can achieve stable arc condition by providing the arc current as equal to the transformer current. And for the voltage machine, we can get the stable arc condition by equating arc voltage to the transformer voltage. Okay, so this is how we solve the problems. We can see the shortcuts and tips in while problem solving. So for this I am ending this lesson. Thanks for watching.